Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, currently in the ring, from Grand Rapids, Michigan, weighing in tonight at 231 pounds, Ron Jackson. And his opponent, from Greenwich, Connecticut, weighing in tonight at 245 pounds, Hunter Hurst Helmsley. Well, Hunter Hurst Helmsley, the blue blood, the aristocrat, making his way to the ring with an air of cockiness, an air of arrogance, like he's better than everybody in this arena. He's certainly a tremendous wrestler, there's no doubt about that, and he's looking to put his skills on display here, looking for a warm-up. As in just under a week, he will be going head-to-head with Psycho Sid in an attempt to become the past gen television champion. Gonna have to be on his game here tonight though. Okay, Ron Jackson, not exactly a world beater, but a trained professional. If Hunter's not on his game, I'm sure Ron Jackson could give a couple of moves and take him by surprise. He's got to treat this match as seriously as he would treat any other. The two men get ready to square off here. Of course, this match is not for the past gen television title, so a 10-minute time limit as usual. A nice DDT there by Hunter Hurst Helmsley, taking Jackson down, and look at this, curtsying to the crowd who hate his guts, let's be honest with that, but nonetheless Hunter Hurst Helmsley now seems to be firmly in control. Ron Jackson struggling to do much as he's sent for the ride off the rope. And the back body drop there by Helmsley. Covers made. This could be enough, but Ron Jackson too close to the ropes. Referee forcing Hunter Hurst Helmsley to break that count. And look at this. Hunter zeroing in on the right kneecap of Ron Jackson. Very, very methodical here, as you'd expect from Helmsley. The sort of thing we're used to seeing. Look at that for a move, hyperextending the knee joint of Ron Jackson. The way this is going, he'd be lucky if he can even walk out of the arena tonight. Triple H coming off the ropes and dropping that knee right across the bridge of the nose. A big time clothesline. Helmsley looks impressive here, taking the time out once again to enrage the crowd. Oh, look at that though. Ron Jackson getting up quicker than Helmsley expected. Goes for the Irish whip. Helmsley reverses it. Sending Ron Jackson for the ride off the ropes once again. Face buster. And Helmsley regains control. It looked like there may have been a little hiccup there, but Helmsley had it well under control. Ron Jackson still in a world of trouble here, and a dominant performance thus far from Hunter Hurst Helmsley. Jackson goes down. Helmsley with a modified version of the figure four, and yet more pressure on the right kneecap of Ron Jackson. Too close to the ropes. Referee may giving him to the count of 5 to break that hold, and Helmsley using every moment of that referee 5 count to inflict more damage on the kneecap of Ron Jackson, and now putting that hold on once again. Ron Jackson screaming in pain. Helmsley deciding to break that hold, though he may have got the submission there. Opting for a different approach, letting Ron Jackson up, and now look at this, picking him up and dropping his shin. Painful shin breaker move there, and more pressure to that right knee as well. Helmsley's very, very smart, very intelligent wrestler, very methodical. He's coming here with a game plan and he's executing it to perfection. Ron Jackson's looked pretty helpless in this. Face buster there, and now Hunter Hurst Helmsley going for his signature move. This should finish the match off if he hits this. Pedigree. Devastating finishing maneuver. Ron Jackson looks to be out for the count already. Very unlikely he's going to get the shoulders up here, and he doesn't. Oh, Hunter Hurst Helmsley victorious in this match. Here is your winner, Hunter Hurst Helmsley. Well, Hunter looked very, very good and dominant. strong in that match, but he's going to have to be just under a week when he goes one-on-one with Psycho Sid. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, from Atlantic City, New Jersey, Frank Donaldson. And his opponent, from Manchester, England, weighing in tonight at 260 pounds, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Davey Boy Smith making his way to the ring, and in just under a week he will be challenging for that coveted past gen television champion, taking on the champion Psycho Sid. And he's full of confidence, Davey Boy. He believes that he can be the man to finally take that belt off Psycho Sid. He's going to put his skills to the test here tonight against the local boy. We're live here in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Frank Donaldson, not far from here in the state of New Jersey, hometown favourite, but Davey Boy Smith, you've got to believe he's going to come out with a victory pretty comfortably here against Donaldson, but you never know, he's going to have to be on his game. And the crowd here in New Jersey, despite his opponent being from the state of New Jersey, certainly a fan favourite, as the bell rings and the two men get ready to square off. Davey Boy Smith and Frank Donaldson now, collar and elbow tie up. Oh, and Davey Boy Smith just powering, just shoving Frank Donaldson across the ring. The power of the British Bulldog, one of the strongest men to ever set foot in a wrestling ring, without a doubt, as Frank Donaldson now being knocked on the ropes. And look at the power of the British Bulldog. Frank Donaldson over 200 pounds. Look at this by Davey. Military press, 3 repetitions, dropping him torso first right into the canvas. Of course, Frank Donaldson still has that PWO logo spray painted on his back. I believe they used car paint. And look at this power by Davey Boy again. Of course, if Frank Donaldson wins this match, he's hoping to get some money, to get the solution, to get that logo off his back. But he's not doing very well against Davey Boy here thus far, as he sends him off the ropes and hits him with a nice big boot. Covers made. Davey Boy could have done enough here to put the hometown boy away. Frank Donaldson still a little bit of life left in him though. Getting the shoulder up before the count of 3, and listen to these fans firmly behind Davey Boy Smith. Listen to the chant. Nice leg drop by Davey Boy. And a big shoulder block. Well, Frank Donaldson not having the best of nights here as he's sent off the ropes. Davey Boy with another shoulder block, knocking him down, demonstrating his power. Now with a painful submission maneuver, trying to hyperextend the neck of Frank Donaldson. Nowhere near the ropes, he may have to tap out here, he may have no choice, but Davey Boy deciding to break that hold. Davey Boy now, big time clothesline. Donaldson on Dream Street at the moment. Davey Boy taunting to the fans, acknowledging the incredible support he's had here tonight. They're really behind him, and I'm sure most of the fans would love to see this man become the first man from outside of the United States to hold that coveted past gen television championship. If he can put in a performance like that in a few nights' time, he certainly will be. Beautiful slam by Davey Boy. Frank Donaldson too close to the ropes though. And now Davey Boy picking him up, going for that signature move. The running power slam. Frank Donaldson may not even be with it at all. He looks unconscious. Hit by that devastating maneuver, and Davey Boy Smith is your winner. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. Well, an incredible win for Davey Boy Smith. Frank Donaldson, I don't recall him getting any offense in at all. A dominant victory, a confident victory. Can Davey Boy be the man to take that belt off Psycho Sid? We will find out in just under a week. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, currently in the ring, from Jackson, Mississippi, weighing in tonight at 183 pounds, Steve Dickerson. Steve Dickerson eagerly awaiting his opponent here. As are we, and here he comes now.
And his opponent from Japan, weighing in tonight at 142 pounds, Ash Ketchum. Well, Ash Ketchum making his way to the ring in just under a week. He'll be challenging the brand new Passion Television Champion, the British Bulldog. Going to be seeing if he can try and take that belt away from Davey Boy. Of course, Ash Ketchum, the smallest, lightest man to ever compete to that belt at only 142 pounds. So it's going to be an uphill struggle. The old saying goes, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. We're about to find out how much fight that Ash Ketchum has got in him here tonight. Well, Steve Dickerson with about a 45 pound weight advantage, but nothing compared to the 120 pound weight advantage that the champion will have over Ash Ketchum when he challenges for that belt in just a few days' time, as Steve Dickerson starting out the match early in. Look at this roll up. Rolling into a pin, and we could have we nearly had a major upset there. Steve Dickerson taking Ash Ketchum completely by surprise. That would have been a big embarrassment for this man. And a nice monkey flip by Ketchum. He needs to take this man seriously. That's a nice move though, spinning head scissors, taking him down, and now Ash Ketchum taunting to the crowd. As we said, maybe just a little bit of underestimation. His opponent, Steve Dickerson, no pushover by any means. Beautiful move by Ketchum though off the top rope, beautiful Hurricane Rana, and that could be enough to put Dickerson away. Shoulders are down, the cover he's made, and Dickerson surviving that big move and that cover attempt. And Ketchum a little bit frustrated here. He needs to keep cool and keep his composure. He can't do this against Davey Boy. He will not get away with it. Now Ketchum going to the top rope, looking to hit a big move to finish Dickerson off his style. Senton into a Hurricane Rana and a pin. 1, 2. Dickerson once again getting out of that pinning combination. Impressive moves thus far from Ash Ketchum. Nice reversal there by Steve Dickerson with that elbow. And look at this for a move, floating over Dickerson. Beautiful spinning net breaker. I'll tell you what, we're expecting a one-sided match here, but Dickerson has really surprised us, and Ash Ketchum really not been on his game. Not an impressive showing here. That was a nice move to get out of the way, and that big-time missile drop kick from Dickerson. And now look at this from Ketchum. Hurricane Rana into a pin once again, trying to catch the man by surprise and sneak a quick cover, and Dickerson just about getting out of that. These quick pinning combinations by Ash Ketchum, certainly dangerous, no matter what size you are. Modified sunset flip by Ash Ketchum, trying to finish the man off, and once again Dickerson surviving by the skin of his teeth there. Beautiful spinning heel kick by Ash Ketchum. Now go to the top rope, looking for a big move to finish this match off. Dives off the big moonsault. Well, he did catch Dickerson with that move, but he tried rolling out of the way, and he didn't quite get the full impact of that. Watch this by Ketchum though, floating over. What is he going for here? Wow, what impact. Floating over to give more momentum to that move, and a beautiful reverse DDT. Now Steve Dickerson looks done for, and a big elbow to the sternum. 1, 2. Referee making the count, and Ash Ketchum is your winner here. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Ash Ketchum. Certainly not a flawless performance from Ketchum. Steve Dickerson for a couple of moments in that match looked like he was going to pull off an upset and really took Ash by surprise, but nonetheless he's going to go on to face the British Bulldog and challenge that Passion Television title. Can he pull off an upset, or will Davey Boy keep hold of that belt for another week? Tune in to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, currently in the ring from Jackson, Mississippi, weighing in tonight at 183 pounds, Steve Dickerson. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A pleasure to be back here finally after recovering from the Steve Harvey virus, as Steve Dickerson awaits his opponent. And his opponent, from Los Angeles, California, weighing in tonight at 175 pounds, the masterpiece, Chris Masters. Well, Chris Masters certainly not popular here in Allentown, Pennsylvania, but what an impressive specimen this man is. 6'4", 275 pounds, in excellent physical condition. Of course, tomorrow night he is going to be challenging for that Passion Television title, going one-on-one with Davey Boy Smith, the current champion. And he thinks he's got what it takes to dethrone the man from Manchester, England. I certainly think he has as well. He's got a 15-pound weight advantage. A very, very impressive athlete is this man, but we're going to see what he's made of here against Steve Dickerson, who had a pretty impressive performance against Ash Ketchum just over a week ago. Chris Masters walking. He's certainly brash, cocky, arrogant, maybe the word we're looking for, but he's full of confidence and he's got every right to be. This could be the man that walks away tomorrow night as the new past gen television champion. He's going to put his skills on display here tonight. As we await the sound of the bell, and here we go, the match is underway. Steve Dickerson hoping he can pull off the upset of the century here. Defy the odds against Chris Masters, but it's very unlikely as the two men stare down. Oh, and a cheap shot by Masters. That does not surprise me one bit. No respect for his opponent here. And Masters now zeroing in on his target. A big kick to the midsection, a kick to the ribs of Dickerson. And now while Dickerson's down, look at this. Masters finding his target once again with that kick. Oh, as if Dickerson isn't at a big enough disadvantage anyway. Masters making a mistake really there, taunting as Steve Dickerson got back to his feet, but he was too busy being on Dream Street to be able to capitalise on that mistake by Masters, and now he's being punished. Big time elbow to the back of the head by the Masterpiece, and now while Dickerson's down once again, zeroing in right on the ribs. Repeated targeted attacks to the ribs of Steve Dickerson, and you've got to believe that wearing down the midsection has got to be in preparation for applying that Master Lock submission, that modified version of the full Nelson. And now Masters here with a chin knock on Dickerson, nowhere near the ropes. He may have to tap out from this hold. When Masters applies a hold like that, a normal man, it wouldn't normally be a match finisher. But when a man with this strength and power applies even a simple submission manoeuvre, it's enough to put anyone away. As it takes Dickerson down here near the ropes, this is looking dangerous here, and the throat first, right across the bottom rope, the slingshot move. Thought he was going for it again there, throwing Dickerson across the ring, and Chris Masters is firmly in control here. There is no such thing as a contest happening here. This is just a one-way traffic, and boom! Lifting him up. Slamming him torso first right into the canvas, and he's really going to work on the torso of Steve Dickerson. And boom! Big left hand by Masters, now takes it from behind, nice backbreaker. And I'm sure Davey Boy Smith, who himself was suffering with that Steve Harvey virus, is watching at home. He's going to have to strategise against a man like Chris Masters, because if he doesn't, he's going to lose that belt. There's no doubt about that, as Masters looks very impressive here, really going to work on Steve Dickerson, who doesn't seem to have a hope in hell of turning this match around. Now Masters applying the sleeper, that enormous bicep right around the throat of Dickerson, and he seems to be fading pretty fast here. Referee dropping the arm. No response from Dickerson. He does it a second time. If Dickerson can't get the arm up here and respond to the referee, this match will be over. And absolutely, Steve Dickerson out, and Chris Masters is your winner. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match, the Masterpiece, Chris Masters. Well, an absolutely dominant and impressive win for Chris Masters, and he could go on tomorrow night to become the new past gen television champion. Only Davey Boy Smith stands in his way. Tune in to find out what is going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, currently in the ring from Atlantic City, New Jersey, Frank Donaldson. Well, Frank Donaldson awaits a very, very scary prospect in this match that he has to compete in, and there you see the eerie red lights, and here comes the big monster, and his opponent, weighing 326 pounds, Kane. The big red machine, 7 feet tall, 326 pounds. For some reason last night, taking out the past gen television champion Davey Boy Smith, absolutely destroying him after his match. And Kane is going to get his shot at that belt next week. In just under a week, he's going to get his shot against Davey Boy Smith. And as much as I admire Davey Boy, I can't see how he's going to beat this monster as Frank Donaldson. staring right into the face of that demon that stares down at him, and a big right hand by Kane knocking him down. This match is officially underway, and as much as I like Frank Donaldson, as much as he is an experienced wrestler, it's like throwing a mouse to a snake here. This absolute demonic monster is going to destroy him, barring an absolute miracle. Kane really going to work on Frank Donaldson, the poor man who still hasn't got the money to get a solution to get that PWO logo that was spray painted on his back washed off. And now Kane with hand around the throat of Frank Donaldson. This is not going to last long here. Choke slam straight to hell. Donaldson's finished here. For some reason Kane isn't. He wants to inflict as much pain and suffering on his opponent, on Frank Donaldson, as he can. This man is helpless now, and the referee trying to intervene. I wouldn't get too close if I was you. Referee getting too close this time, and Kane striking him right in the back. And a big boot. Well, normally that'd be a disqualification. I don't think any referee has got the guts to stand in front of Kane and disqualify him. And now Frank Donaldson busted wide open. Oh, he is in a bad place here. Completely defenseless, completely helpless. And this big 7-footer taking his frustrations out on him. And surely this is sending a message to Davey Boy Smith. That big side slam. Poor Donaldson. Just trying to make a few bucks for his family. And now Kane, like a possessed animal, going to work on the already battered and bloody Frank Donaldson. He's not putting up any fight here. And now the big red machine picking him up. Going for that finishing manoeuvre. A tombstone pile driver. There's no way Donaldson's going to get his shoulders up now, and Kane is your winner. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Kane. Well, Kane with a scary dominant display. And this is what Davey Boy Smith is going to have to contend with in just under a week. Are we going to have a new champion, or can Davey Boy somehow find a way to defeat this vicious monster? Tune in to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for 1 fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, currently in the ring from Denver, Colorado, Ron Jackson. Well, Ron Jackson awaiting his opponent, and here he comes now. And his opponent from Blackpool, England, weighing in tonight at 245 pounds, William Regal. Well, William Regal, talk about an experienced man who can wrestle any style in that ring. He's wrestled in England, across Europe. He's spent many years in the United States of America. Talk about a dangerous opponent. And Davey Boy Smith's going to have to contend with Mr. Regal in just under a week when they square off to contest the Passion television title. Davey Boy Smith's had that belt for a long time. He's someone that knows how to beat that man. It's the man standing in front of you, Mr. William Regal. So he's set to square off here against Ron Jackson. Ron Jackson has not been lucky in that ring, but certainly no slouch. William Regal's going to have to be on his game here. He wants to defeat him. Regal at the moment winning in that Roman Greco knuckle. Well, lost the ability of speech there. Regal with a kick to the gut. And now Regal going behind with a sleeper hold, taking Ron Jackson down. Jackson getting back to his feet, elbow to the back of the head by Regal, now punches to the spine. Ron Jackson down on the mat once again, and this is exactly where Mr. Regal wants to keep his opponent. Very methodical, very smart, extensive knowledge of technical wrestling. He can put you in all kinds of holds that will hurt different body parts. And that seems to be the game plan here, keep Ron Jackson off his feet. And torture him on the mat, and that's exactly what he's doing with his painful submission hold. Ron Jackson's feet in the ropes, referee giving him the count. Regal just keeping it on as long as he can to inflict extra damage on his opponent. Going for the cover now. Ron Jackson's feet too close to the ropes once again. Regal now, a couple of strikes to the head. at this now, hooking the arms, and what a move. Double arm hook suplex by Mr. Regal, a devastating manoeuvre that could be enough to put Ron Jackson away here. And Ron Jackson, give him credit, he is certainly tough, managing to get the shoulder up there. That could have been a match finisher. But Regal now, the referee warning him, and rightfully so, he should not be doing that. A punch right to the nether regions. And this is exactly the sort of fight Regal wants. Opponent on the ground, completely helpless, and just methodically picking him apart. Now trying to hyperextend the neck of Ron Jackson. He is writhing in pain. Could have got the submission there, but Regal deciding to go another way and breaking that submission manoeuvre. Now going to the knees once again. I don't think a medically trained person could do as good a job at breaking down someone's anatomy as William Regal is doing here with Ron Jackson. Now sending him off the ropes, and a big time knee right to the head. Ron Jackson could have been knocked unconscious by that move. The cover's made, the shoulders are down, and Jackson once again, I'll tell you what, he is a tough man. You've got to give him that. Unable to launch any offense, but Regal's hitting with some pretty big moves here, and Jackson just keeps coming back. He will not give up. Regal now going off the ropes, goes behind Jackson and taking the knee right from under him. It's almost as if Regal is just toying with his opponent now. Going for that Regal stretch, that special submission manoeuvre. Pain to the ankles, pain to the knees, to the shoulder, to the neck. What a devastating manoeuvre this is. And Ron Jackson, no choice but to tap out. William Regal victorious here. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, William Regal. Well, Mr. Regal victorious here, and will he have his hand raised in just under a week when it's an all British affair, when he goes one-on-one and challenges for that past gen television title against DeZayveon Boy Smith? Tune in to find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, currently in the ring from Jackson, Mississippi, Steve Dickerson. Well, Steve Dickerson, the hometown boy here, and he's got a mountain to climb in the form of his opponent. And his opponent from Greenwich, Connecticut, weighing in tonight at 265 pounds, Triple H. Well, Triple H, the current World Heavyweight Champion, he is going to have to forfeit that belt in just 48 hours time in order to be eligible to compete for that coveted past gen television title. And Triple H said he's won that world title many times, but it means nothing compared to the prestige and the honour that it would mean to walk away in 2 nights time to defeat DeZayveon Boy Smith and to walk away the brand new past gen television champion. Of course, Triple H, hospitalised with dehydration many times over his career. Nice to see him keeping that water down, actually drinking it out of the bottle and not spitting it out like some sort of child. Hydration's going to do him good here in this match, and oh no. Well, Triple H not learned his lesson. Keep telling him you've got to drink the water to get the nutritional benefits. He seems to think spitting it out all over his body is enough, but it's not, and he's going to end up being casualty on the drip again. Severely dehydrated man. Nonetheless, he's gone without hydration for many years. Still a very good wrestler, and Steve Dickerson, the hometown boy here from Jackson, Mississippi, faces a very tough challenge. Whoa! And a cheap shot. A cheap shot by Steve Dickerson, gaining an advantage over the game, but showboating here. Well, he may regret that decision. Bit of a daft move. If you're going to gain an advantage over Triple H by using dirty means, make sure you stay on top of him. Do not get ahead of yourself. Of course, he's in front of his hometown here. I can understand that. But the game now with a big spine buster, he's going to punish him for that disrespect. And the big question is, Triple H has captured many titles over his career. What is he, something like 100-time world champion? I call that exaggeration. I'm probably not actually far off with that number as the game goes for the cover here. Steve Dickerson's shoulders are down, just about staying in this match. But Triple H firmly in control and very aggressive after Steve Dickerson disrespected him, the face buster by the game. And we all know that's the setup to the big move, the move that have won him many world championships over the years. The pedigree nails it on Dickerson. I don't think it's going to be much of a surprise if Dickerson doesn't kick out here, and he does in the game with a very fast, dominant victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Triple H. Well, Triple H dominant. And is that going to be the story in 2 nights' time when he challenges for that past gen television title? Only Davey Boy Smith stands in his way of becoming the champion. Who's going to win that match? There's only one way to find out, and that is to tune in. 2 nights. 2 nights away. What a match that is going to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following 2-on-1 handicap match is an elimination match. Introducing first, from Des Moines, Iowa, weighing in tonight at a combined weight of 432 pounds, the Henderson brothers. Well, Henderson brothers, 2-on-1 advantage, but when you see their opponent, that advantage may not work in their favour. And their opponent, from Minneapolis, Minnesota, weighing in tonight at 287 pounds, Brock Lesnar. Former UFC heavyweight champion, former wrestling heavyweight champion. Only one thing Brock Lesnar hasn't achieved in his illustrious career, and that is to be the past gen television champion, the only belt that matters in the world of sport. He's going to get that opportunity. He's going to be facing Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, the current past gen television champion. And it's going to be interesting how Brock performs here in a 2-on-1 situation. Travis and Steve, the Henderson brothers, certainly no pushovers. Wrestled locally in Iowa many years. Travis Henderson, the man in the ring at the moment, the more experienced of the two, 25 years a professional. But Brock Lesnar just manhandling 231 pound man Brock Lesnar, making him look small here, making him look like he's nothing. The Beast Incarnate sends him for the ride off the ropes, goes from behind and takes him on his first trip tonight of Suplex City. I'm sure it will not be his only trip. Lesnar now in the collar and elbow tie, goes behind and another devastating German suplex. Lesnar showing his amateur background here once again, gut wrench, picking him up. Travis Henderson, well over 200 pounds. Brock Lesnar making him look like he weighs nothing. Now picking him up on the shoulders and nails the big F5. Well, elimination match, and I think this is now going to be a 1-on-1 match. Nobody kicks out of the F5. Here comes the younger of the two, Scott Henderson, getting knocked down by the 287 pound Brock Lesnar. Big shoulder thrust there by the former UFC heavyweight champion of the world. Now throwing big kicks to the gut. Lesnar dominant, Lesnar in control, aggressive. Question is he going to fare as well when he gets in the ring with Davey Boy Smith in 24 hours? Certainly looking impressive now in that big clothesline. Knocking the younger of the two Henderson brothers off his feet. Brock Lesnar looks comfortable. Completely lack of opposition here. Now picking him up. Big time spine buster. And this is what Davey Boy Smith's going to have to contend with. He must be looking unconcerned if he's watching this at home. He's going to have to produce a fantastic performance to keep hold of that belt. Because if he doesn't, this man here is going to steal his belt away from him. Big knee by Lesnar. Sending the younger Henderson in the corner once again. Now picking him up, hand around the throat. Look at this power. Military press, dropping him guts first across the ropes. And now Lesnar picking him up. And a big F5. Well, I always say I'm no Nostradamus, but I predict this match is possibly over, and I'm correct. Brock Lesnar defeating 2 men. What an impressive victory for this man. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Brock Lesnar.
Well, an absolute dominant victory for this man. The question is, will he be as dominant in 24 hours when he goes 1-on-1 with Davey Boy Smith? Tune in to find out what's going to happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, currently in the ring, from Ohio, Mike Simmons.
Mike Simmons set to take on one of the all-time greats in the history of this sport, and here he comes to the ring now.
And his opponent from Tehran, Iran, weighing in tonight at 258 pounds, the Iron Sheik.
Oh, the Iron Sheik, former WWF champion, tremendous amateur wrestling background. And this man is going to be challenging Brock Lesnar for that past gen television title in just 24 hours time. It'll be very interesting to see how he shapes up against the Beast Incarnate. But for now, Mike Simmons is the man standing in front of him as the Sheik. As only he does best, absolutely enraging this crowd. Nobody could ever accuse the Iron Sheik of being a fan favourite. He's expressed his disdain for the United States of America on many, many occasions. But nonetheless, he's a tremendous talent in that ring and a worthy challenger for Brock Lesnar. Oh, the bell is sounding him around the way here. Mike Simmons hoping to get to winning ways. He has never won a match. Not in this promotion anyway, and the Iron Sheik going to work on him quickly with a big kick to the ribs. The Sheik just toying with Mike Simmons in the early going, not letting him get to his feet, and another vicious kick right to that midsection. And now the crowd not appreciating that. The Iron Sheik just choking Mike Simmons, and the referee should really step in. Illegal move there. Sending him into the corner now. Referee asking for a nice clean break, and it looks like we're going to get one. Oh no, and a cheap shot from the Sheik. Dirty, dirty moves, but nonetheless very effective.
Rope break.
Could they be this effective against Brock Lesnar, the past gen television champion? If the Sheik can pull off a performance like this, we could have a brand new champion. And now the Sheik with Mike Simmons on the floor, keeping him grounded once again with a very targeted attack. A big kick right to the midsection once again. Now the Sheik going to the top rope. Mike Simmons maybe had an opportunity to capitalise there, but he was on Dream Street. Now the Sheik hanging him in the tree of woe, upside down in the turnbuckle, not the place you want to be. And the Sheik putting that boot right in the throat of Mike Simmons. Simmons completely out of his depth here. Sheik sending him for the ride off the ropes. Nice arm drag by the former bodyguard for the Shah of Iran. And choking him once again. The referee trying to have words, but the Sheik's having none of it. Simmons sent for the ride off the ropes once again. And look at that. What a kick right to the jaw. Simmons may have knocked a couple of teeth out with that one. Now going to that Boston Crab. Well, Simmons in the ropes. The referee telling him to break the count, but he's going to use every split second he can to inflict as much damage as possible on the spine, on the midsection of Mike Simmons, who looks to be out of this match already. Well, Simmons getting to his feet. And the Sheik maybe a little bit overconfident now. Simmons trying to mount a bit of a comeback here. Couple of right hands, catching the Sheik by surprise. Nice block though there by the Sheik. Well, Simmons had an opening there, but not managing to turn this match around. And now the Sheik with him in the corner. Shoulder first right into that steel ring post. The Sheik just asserting his dominance in this match. Comes running in with a big clothesline. Simmons on Dream Street as he has been through most of this match. Now a nice waistlock takeover by the Iron Sheik. Dragging Simmons across the ring and going for the big finish. The move he used to defeat Bob Backlund for the WWF title many, many years ago. Still just as effective of a submission move as it was then. And getting the victory, the Iron Sheik victorious here. What a win for that man.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, the Iron Sheik.
Well, the Sheik, a dominant performance. He looks very, very dangerous. Will he be as dangerous when he faces Brock Lesnar in 24 hours time? Tune in to find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, from Jackson, Mississippi, Steve Dickerson.
Well, Steve Dickerson awaits his opponent here, hoping to get to winning ways. Yet to win a match, this man. See if he'll have any more luck here tonight in this contest.
And his opponent from San Diego, California, weighing in tonight at 165 pounds, Rey Mysterio.
A luchador of all luchadors. The master of the 619, Rey Mysterio, in 48 hours time will be challenging Brock Lesnar for that past gen television title. A true David versus Goliath battle. But this man has won quite a few of them across his career. And he'll be full of confidence. He's beat bigger men than Brock Lesnar. Not sure he's beat anyone quite as tough. Rey Mysterio certainly capable of upsetting any opponent no matter what size, and set to face off here with Steve Dickerson. And look at that, a cheap shot by Dickerson, just as he did to Triple H. He's becoming renowned for that, but it's effective. That's the second wrestler he's caught off guard with the cheap shot. Now sending Mysterio into the corner, comes charging in. Mysterio puts the elbow up there and puts a stop to that attack. Now look at this by Mysterio, springboard, flying head scissors. Well, Dickerson's good at gaining the advantage from the cheap shot, not good at keeping that advantage now as Mysterio perched on the top rope waiting for Dickerson to get to his feet and hits him with a big blockbuster. Now Mysterio on the top rope once again, where he feels most at home, where he is at his most dangerous. Dickerson getting to his feet, Mysterio flipping with a flip senton attack. Oh, Steve Dickerson not goofy by that. Now Mysterio, look at this, Dickerson ringing the arm, Mysterio rolling out of it and taking the legs right from under him. Big moonsault by Mysterio. Now going to the top rope, hoping to finish Dickerson off. Goes for a corkscrew body attack. Lands it right across the spine. Then Mysterio now sending him for the ride off the ropes. Comes back in. Hurricane Rana into a pinning combination. This could be enough to finish the match here. Oh, Dickerson just about managing to get the shoulders up. He struggled there though. But this Mysterio rolling out of the way. Not going for that patented Mysterio Bulldog. And Mysterio really on fire here, firing on all cylinders, and now with this painful submission maneuver, trying to put Steve Dickerson away, trying to make him tap out. Well, Mysterio deciding to break that hold, maintaining control in this match though. Dickerson sent for the ride off the ropes once again. Beautiful Lucha Libre style arm drag, as I was trying to say. And Mysterio maybe getting a little bit overconfident, tries the right hand, nice block by Mysterio, gets in with a drop toe hold, and we all know what the setup, what move he's going to go for here. Nails the 619 right across the face of Steve Dickerson. Dickerson on Dream Street here as Mysterio, the Hurricane Rana into the pin after the 619. And Dickerson defeated easily here. Rey Mysterio, your winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Rey Mysterio.
Phenomenal win for Rey Mysterio, hitting the 619 to win that match, and that move certainly capable of defeating Brock Lesnar. The question is, will he be able to hit it on Lesnar and walk away the champion? Tune in just 2 days' time to find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 5-minute time limit, and it is for the past gen Television Championship. Introducing first the challenger, the Brooklyn Brawler.
Oh, the Brooklyn Brawler. An odd choice of opponent for Brock Lesnar, but here comes the champion now.
His opponent from Minneapolis, Minnesota. He weighs in tonight at 287 pounds, and he is the current past gen Television Champion, Brock Lesnar.
Well, Brock Lesnar saying that he's going to take on an icon of the 80s to prove that the wrestlers from the 80s are no match for his skills and his aggression, but I thought he'd have picked a more worthy opponent, a tougher challenge than the Brooklyn Brawler, but nonetheless, a man with many years of experience, and he's been in the ring with possibly anybody that's worth wrestling in the past 25 to 30 years, so certainly not a man renowned for winning matches, but Brock Lesnar underestimates him. I'm sure the Brawler's capable of giving him some problems, but it doesn't look like Brock Lesnar is underestimating him here, hitting him with a big German suplex and going for heavy lefts and heavy rights, not even giving the Brooklyn Brawler any moment to strategize and gather his thoughts here, as Lesnar thrashing him in the face, thrashing him right in the head. And Lesnar very, very aggressive here, sends the Brawler into the corner, comes charging in, all 287 pounds, ramming right into the midsection. And now Lesnar has the Brawler and just sliding him to the outside of the ring. Lesnar seems very angry, as he always does, and probably his biggest weakness. But he's certainly working against the Brawler here. Don't know what he's trying, and Lesnar's tripped over the barricade. A mistake by Lesnar. Losing his composure, and now the Brawler from behind. Nice sidewalk backbreaker by the Brawler. Going to get himself in the ring. He wouldn't win the title on a countout, but what a victory this would be to defeat Brock Lesnar. Oh, Lesnar getting in the ring before the count of 7. And the Brawler, overconfident, saw the victory line, perhaps too soon, and now he's being punished for that complacency. Lesnar really pulling no punches, with the Brawler now sending him for the ride off the ropes, goes behind, and another trip to Suplex City for the native of Brooklyn, New York. Now Lesnar going behind, oh, and that's not good, dropping the man right in his head. A vicious German suplex. He may be out of it after that, and he looks to be out of it, but Lesnar not done. Brawler sent into the corner. Lesnar nearly taking his head off. If he wasn't unconscious already, he will be after that clothesline, but Lesnar not finished with him, wants to inflict some more punishment. Nice waistlock takedown by the champion. Oh, and now look at this dangerous submission maneuver, trying to hyperextend the elbow and break the arm. Referee calling for the rope break. Lesnar refusing to break that hold. We could have a broken arm here. Very dangerous situation. And Lesnar having to break that hold on the count of 4. He would have been disqualified otherwise. Of course, that didn't stop him against Jeff Hardy just a few nights ago. And Jeff Hardy is going to get a rematch. He is going to get another title shot in a couple of weeks, as Lesnar, with his very painful single leg Boston Crab, deciding to break that hold though. Go down another avenue. The Brawler really out of this match. And now Lesnar, beautiful belly-to-belly suplex, throwing him overhead. Look at the power. Well, and if the Brawler wasn't out already, it will be after this manoeuvre. The F5, one of the most devastating manoeuvres in the history of professional wrestling. The shoulders are down, and the Brawler, I do not think, will respond, and he won't. Brock Lesnar, still your past-gen television champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, and still the past-gen television champion, Brock Lesnar.
Well, perhaps their opponent maybe not quite matched up well enough with Brock Lesnar, but that 6-man gauntlet match is coming up with some of the greatest stars of the 80s, and he will have to defend the belt against whoever wins that match. I'm sure that will provide a much tougher challenge for Mr. Lesnar, but nonetheless, for now, on 80s week, he remains the past-gen television champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing 227 pounds, Dwayne Gill. And his opponent, from Stone Mountain, Georgia, weighing in tonight at 255 pounds, Jake the Snake Roberts.
And Jake the Snake living up to his name here, bringing Damien to the ring, and he is scheduled to be in that big 7-man gauntlet match for 80s week, with a winner going on to face Brock Lesnar for the past-gen television title. And Jake certainly could be one of the odds-on favourites. He could be the winner of that. He could go on to win the belt from Brock Lesnar. He certainly looks ready, looks to be in great physical condition. Ready to square off with Dwayne Gill here. Certainly not a world beater, Dwayne Gill, but it's again a licensed professional. Jake the Snake now sending him off the ropes. Beautiful arm drag. Now look at this with a chin knock. A very, very simple move But Jake the Snake, a very smart wrestler, just looking to wear Dwayne Gill down now without expending too much energy. Now dropping the knee right across the bridge of the nose of Gill. And once again, Gill holding his face. That hurt his nose. He could have a broken nose after Jake the Snake dropping that knee right across the face. And now Jake with right hands, right to the face, right to the body of Dwayne Gill. Very calculated attack here. Now look at this, a small package. This could be enough to win the match. The shoulders are down. And Dwayne Gill somehow managing to escape that predicament. Both men get back to the feet. Gill trying to fight back. Nice block by Jake in the right hand. And now Jake, beautiful short arm clothesline. Beautiful move. And we all know what that's the setup to. Jake signalling and the fans going to get to see it. It looks like they are. And he hits it beautifully. The DDT. Surely this match over. As Jake the Snake shoulders down after hitting the DDT, and he is your winner. Phenomenal win for that man.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Well, Jake the Snake victorious here. The question on everybody's mind, will he be victorious in that big gauntlet match coming up later on this week? Tune in to find out.